seen this before, so you guys are in for a treat. And we're off. So we're going to see these guys either diverge or go through the same kind of route path. You always start at the ship in SMZ3, but you have two options available. You can either go into Link to the Past in one of the 4 warps coming up here on the right door, which is the regular map door. Both our runners are electing to choose that. Or you could have went all the way down, as people like to call it, the meme play, all the way down to Binilomorph and the Bryn Ceiling item. We actually see both our runners just electing to scout out that Hylia Island S&Q, so the routing's really tight on both these guys, and they're both going to Sanctuary as well. Normally, you might see a little bit of divergence of maybe an Uncle route or a early kind of Link's House route, but finally, actually, we're going to start to see some divergence, as Osse is going to go ahead and set up for a fake flipper Houlihan room setup, whereas SuperNinTaylor is going to hope to find either rupees or bombs in the tree pull and bush crab area here in Link to the Past. So Osse setting up his fake flipper. So there's a flipperless gloveless setup for Houlihan, which basically allows the runner to kind of get their screen off center from where Link is. That's how he's able to kind of get into that state of a Houlihan. So the Houlihan room was actually developed as a kind of safety net so the game wouldn't crash. Now Osse's going ahead and committing to go to the Hylia shop to buy bombs. I'm wondering if he's going to take that right to Sahasrahla or if he's just going to S&Q from here. And he's still walking, so it looks like he's going to go Sahash. He could surprise me and go south route, but we'll have to wait and see. And we do see green pendant, Eastern, and the other 2 Light World dungeons are crystals as well. Meanwhile, SuperNinTaylor getting a reserve tank in the Lost Woods area is fortunate enough to get bombs off the bush crabs. That's a really nice price pack for him. And getting a E-tank in the Lost Woods Thieves hideout. So Hashrula for us today has a sword, had a big 20 and a piece of heart as well. I think with, Osse with getting that sword, he's going to option to an early Eastern Palace dip. This is actually very aggressive considering he hasn't been to South Shore or to Kakariko yet. And speaking of Kakariko, Mr. SuperNinTaylor is about to make his first trip into there. All right, so we see a lamp, a charge beam, Quake, and missile pack from Blind's hideout so far. That's actually a really, really stacked Blind's hideout. The lamp is good, indicates that dark rooms are in logic. We get the charge beam, which is really good, going to conserve a lot of ammo requirements for our runners, and they also find Spazer in the back of Blind's hideout, which is also nice. All right, and we see SNT checking out well now. Not a whole lot going on in Eastern Palace right now for Osse's side, but he is just entering the dungeon. Does get the big key early, and a missile pack for his troubles so far. SNT getting some more missiles, E-tank, 10 arrows, and another missile pack. And gets a super pack at the bottle vendor. It's always nice to get like one of each secondary early on in supers, missiles, and power bombs, it just makes routing options a lot more viable to you in SM. So he's going to be happy to see that super pack. What he's going to be looking for now is power bombs, if he can. Ooh, and a free gravity suit in Tavern. I'm wondering if that's going to be bait or if that's going to actually lead to progression here. Just in my experience in the combo randomizer, anytime I tend to get an early tank or an early suit, it tends to be bait. So we'll have to wait and see how that one plays out. Also going to give him less than ideal coverage of Meridia because he's actually not going to be able to go to Dragon or Batoon in his current setup of not having speedruns. He also would be able to get through to Batoon Dragon area if he had Flippers and Dark World access, but he has neither of those just as yet. And Osse gets a heart for his troubles. Was a sequence break on his side just because he doesn't have the lamp, but in the grand scheme of things, with us knowing where lamp is, we know that was in logic. The library was just a big 20. All right, so now Osse, following in SuperNinTaylor's footsteps, going to check out South Shore here. And gets his first pack of power bombs in the dam, also known as peebs, more commonly for the runners. Very, very nice to get power bombs early because it does gate and open up a lot of possibilities for routes. But they're missing one item for that to really kind of come to fruition, and that is the Morph Ball. So we're still looking out for that very critical item for SM progression. And we also get a missile pack in the dam. So nothing really too exciting so far. Not a lot of big progression items. I'd say probably gravity was the biggest piece of the puzzle so far, but it is still very early. We don't have escape done, a Gina gun, Ice Rock Cave, and so on and so forth. So I'll have to wait and see how this goes. Also, that's a really good idea I just caught on SuperNinTaylor's side. He actually dropped the bomb and carried it screen transition. I've never seen anyone do that before. That's a neat little time save there. I'm gonna have to steal that one, guys. Alright, so we got our second pack of power bombs. Also very important to find. So a good rule of thumb for, say, a Brinstar loop route is you always want 10 power bombs if you don't have morph. Or sorry, not morph, morph bombs. And the main reason is if you only have 5, if you only carry 5 power bombs through that loop, it tends to be very tedious in the fact that you need to farm multiple times to kind of be able to unlock everything within your path. So it's very nice to get those out of the way early. And we get like the maximum you ever want, which is the third pack power bombs. That's actually really nice. So 15 power bombs is nice because it now does not require the runners to have Ice Beam to finish the game, at least that we know of. Primarily because you can use power bombs at the Metroid rooms, but we're pretty far along way in the storyline for that. So we're just gonna say 15 power bombs is great for routing right now. All right, so Osse's finished his South Shore. He's now going to head on over to Kakariko. SuperNinTaylor, on the other hand, is going to go through Escape. Now, he doesn't have a sword yet. There was one in Sahashville's cave, but he does have enough bombs to get through Escape as is. So he shouldn't have any problems with this, really. And the way the progression has kind of gone so far, I actually wouldn't be surprised, guys, if we run into Morph and Escape here. So I believe that's the single tree pool for 20 rupees. That's actually not bad. That's going to be able to flex into Zora play very early if they can get that sequence break going. Nice bomb setup by SuperNinTaylor on the right-hand side of the screen here, executing the first escape room very nicely. So we see a question in chat just asking where the grav charge and medallions were. Well, you saw where the charge medallion was. You'll see gravity a little bit sooner in the tap room here. SuperNinTaylor again with some textbooks set up there with the bombs, basically reducing the wait time on charging your bombs and just kind of dropping them in sequence of that the guard is going to run into the next blast. So it does save a lot of time if you're able to execute it effectively. And that green guard actually didn't see him. That was pretty sneaky. We only see a map here. So SNT is going to be setting up a death warp, and he's going to be checking out the Dark Cross, or the Dark Sewers as it's also commonly known as. That's the last location that is in Logic. We do not know where the small key is for Sewer either, so that could actually lead to the back three, or could lead to an item or an item of non-worth. So we'll have to wait and see what happens here. And there's our morph. Okay, so it was here in Escape. So that's pretty much going to option SNT right to Super Metroid, I would imagine. And there's the reset. He's going to start back at ship. Anytime our runners will reset, it will reset them back to the ship. So it's really a core fundamental tactic or strategy of this current build in Logic, is that it allows runners to really kind of speed up their travel. And able to route a little bit more effectively, because SM can be very unruly to route at times, especially if backtracking is required throughout the game. And he does execute some very nice wall jumps there. First try getting up here to the gauntlet area of SM. Takes a little bit of time to drop the power bomb, but he's going to be able to break this second block, so that's kind of the trade-off. Me personally, I kind of like dropping that first power bomb early, but again, it's just personal preference. You kind of get along at the same time. All right, and it looks like our other friend here, Osse, will be heading into Escape very shortly. Should be able to find his bombs. He'll be a little bit faster to it with the sword, but again, that's the end goal here right now, is getting that morph ball. All right, we did see SuperNinTaylor cosplaying as one of the items that the Chorizo statues would hold for a little bit there. Did fancy those bombs, as he did spend quite a bit in Escape, and he's going to be able to continue on through the end of Gauntlet now. It's actually a very heads-up play for him to grab those, mainly because, again, he used them in Escape, so he was running pretty thin on them. That's an excellent question from chat. So does SuperNinTaylor not have Spazer? Yes, he does. So that's kind of a quirk of the combo randomizer, is that it has a, basically, as he's going to equip it here, is a basically prevention of a game break for having both Spazer and Plasma equipped at the same time. It kind of comes out as a kind of a murder beam, but if it's not executed correctly, it'll actually crash the game. So in order to prevent that from happening, Total, the main developer of the randomizer, has decided to basically make you equip the beams manually. And there we see a book at Terminator, so that's a nice little find. That's going to open up desert access now for them. They might not be able to do much without a book or, you know, a lift item to kind of get through desert, but it is nice to have. So I also should notice too, or mention that what SuperNinTaylor did for Gauntlet actually wasn't in logic, just because he didn't have a can fly, such as morph bombs, space, or even speed to kind of get him there. He did have the appropriate amount of power bombs to get through, but he didn't have the can fly. So again, was that a logic? But I don't blame the play. I kind of fancy that one myself. And speaking of glove, there's ours at the drop in Bryn Reserve. So speaking of sequence breaks, what SuperNinTaylor is doing here is kind of doing a mock ball through the speed gates that require speed in vanilla logic. He's going to be rewarded, though, with a hammer, so he's going to be very happy getting now a hammer and glove combo in this Bryn's Reserve area. Gets a blue cane, too, for his troubles, but he's definitely happy about that glove. Trying to be a little fancy here with a quick drop, but he's just going to kind of concede and drop the power bomb. Sometimes, guys, you just got to take the L. You can't swag it out. You just got to, you know, grind it out and get it done. All right, and Osse picks up his morph ball here and escapes. So I imagine he's going to also kind of follow suit to SNT and head on over to Metroid. So SuperNinTaylor just crossed what I like to call the Gotham Bridge, mainly because there is about 3 of those tiles worth of fake bricks that can lead you to a quick drop area, and the Edagoon lead off to power bombs here. And Osse's also electing to check out the Gauntlet area as well. Again, can't blame these guys. They know it's not in logic, but it is a very kind route into Bryn Loop just to kind of get it out of the way. So another question in chat is just how serious are sequence breaks? I guess the best way to describe it is that it's risk and reward, and buyer beware is probably a better term to use. So if you were able to get like serious worth, like a suit or say a major progressive item in Link to the Past, it can be very risky to chase that because that could actually be potential endgame. So if it's endgame and there's not really anything else that could or would come from that, then you could be wasting a lot of time chasing it versus kind of following the logic and finding your items a little bit faster. I want to say that's our first bottle there. The good bee, as the game kind of likes to put it out there for us, has been found here at Pink Bryn. And just a bomb capacity upgrade at Mission Impossible. All right, so Osse's kind of throwing us a little bit of a curveball here. He's actually going to go back and check out the 240 missiles and the bomb Chorizo area, it looks like. And we get a Moon Pearl here at the secondary charge missile. Was it the Pink Bryn missiles? And a mirror underneath as well. So that's a really good find. So right now in Logic, they have Death Mountain either via the vanilla route or through the SM warp. And they also have Dark World access now, which is great. So So another question in chat, why is it called Mission Impossible? It's called Mission Impossible because there's a quick drop there that's commonly used. I think it's in 100%. Don't quote me if I'm wrong. But there is actually a quick drop that you can execute there with high jump, and you're able to actually climb back up through the ceiling if you're timely enough with it. So that's why it's called Mission Impossible. It's all that scientific stuff. You get the item and you kind of bounce back up the ceiling. All right, now SuperNinTaylor is going to go ahead and try to sequence break the wave gate here. So he's going to want to... I'm actually kind of confused with what he's doing. Oh, okay, he's setting up that way. So what he's doing is he has to set up without high jump in a specific fashion that he's able to kind of jump on the ledge. And there's kind of a marker there that he's looking for along the wall to shoot off his super missile. So that's going to allow him to basically trick the game into thinking that wall or that gate doesn't exist, and the super missile passes by and triggers the gate. All right, so SuperNinTaylor going through the wiggle tunnels, I call it. I won't kind of explain that one because if you guys are running across this plando, I don't want to spoil it, but I probably just did. But yeah, just missiles there. And he's killing the giant hoppers here, so it's looking like he's setting up to come back through a return trip rather than go north. Interesting call, just because he does have the warps, but I guess without, you know what, he does have Death Mountain access, so we'll have to see how this goes. We get silver arrows at Vanilla Morphs. That's kind of a nice item to find out early. And just a big 20 here at Alpha Missile. All right, and the Brinstar ceiling item is going to be more power bombs. He's actually happy about that because he's pretty low on ammo. Like, you can see him kind of doing a little bit of a funny dance there. That's the dance of, like, pure joy that now I can check John Cena Bridge into the Billy Mays room here. And he also gets bombos for his effort as well, so that's really nice. Yeah, that was extremely clutch, peeps, to be honest. And gets the single arrow and 50 rupees. So he's probably not so hype about that, but he's just happy he was able to check it. Leaving this item like down the road would be very tricky to route in, and it would be very time consuming. So he's happy that he ran into those PBs when he did. All right, so we kind of know Osse still has to figure out the stuff around in Penguin, so I'm kind of concentrating a little bit on SNT's side because I want to see where he's going to route here. If he goes up, that means he's going to check the 240 missiles, and he is. He's going to check the 240 missiles, the Mother Brain Shell, and Bomb Tree. So possibly could scout out Turian Speed. I don't really like the play. It's very time-consuming for little information, but we'll see what he does with it. Osse, on the other hand, might be routing in retro back to crate area, or he could go back up as well. We'll just have to see how he decides to do it. Again, I like the route from SNT just because he does have Dark World access and he has Death Mountain access. So rather than waste all that time just getting Spazer leading the Crate Slayer, he can just kind of warp into the business center, check out high jump area, and go to Crate if he so choose. And he also has full Dark World access right now with the Hammer, Glove, and Pearl that he found here in SM. But remember guys, that Hammer is a sequence break. So It'll be interesting to see what Dark World presents for our runners. All right, Osse grabbing his pearl here. He's going to be happy to see that mirror as well. He also elected to sequence break his way through Bryn Loop, which he should have, just because it is very available to the runners. Again, they don't want to leave any stone unturned in Bryn. It's very time consuming if they have to come back. It looks like SNT is going to option to refill here, which I really like. He's also going to wall jump a lot on that platform. You learn very early when you try making that jump without high jump, it's just not your friend. So he kind of learned that the hard way this time, and he's just going to kind of go around. All right, so Osse actually didn't elect to go to Retro. He's going right to Spazer and Crate area. He does have Gravity, so he could dip Meridia if he so choose. Meanwhile, SNT, he's going right to Wreck Ship here. Oh, look at that find though. That's sick. Sick call. So he's gonna get his Titans here on the Wreck Ship pedestal, and he doesn't know what to do with it. He's like, what do I do now? Because now Dark World actually is in logic. I think he's thinking about how to kind of get across without high jump or anything, but normally you can't get out. But he's going to try gravity jumping out. I think you can do this. I haven't personally tried. I've always done the CWJ across myself. But yeah, what he's doing right now is not in logic. Yes, the Titan mitts are in logic right now. All right, that's really nice. So what he did was he switched to a gravity jump and switched back to the suit there to make the jump. That's really clever. All right, so SuperNinTaylor is going to make his way on over to Fantoon here. Osse, on the other hand, is right at Mama Cray now. So what we're going to look for here is the effective way to kill Kraid, and it's what's called the Kraid quick kill. We're going to look for either missiles or beam shot at his eyes, and in this case it's going to be double missile, waiting for 3 supers before his mouth kind of closes there. And we don't see the Kraid DLC today so far, luckily, but very nice Kraid quick kill there by Osse. All right, and on SuperNinTaylor side, we're gonna get half magic. I call it spooky. Was it spooky supers or spooky missiles? There's a story behind this. So when I 2v2 with Maniacal, I used to call like room names really weird names, and he has a very strong background in SM, and I was still kind of learning at the time. So I'd always call like Super Metroid names ridiculous, so I call it like spooky missiles, and every time Michael would like spooky missiles. It was great. But anyways, yeah, we got SuperNinTaylor now at Fanteon. We don't see a whole lot from Kraid's area, but it's nice to get that early boss out of the way. And Kraid, more importantly, is in Logic right now. And if I know what Osse's gonna do, all right. He's gonna go to Meridia here. So earlier I mentioned that early suits typically, at least in my experience, are bait. It'll be intriguing to see if anything here is in Logic for our runners to get. I don't know how I feel about the play personally, just because I have Dark World access. I'm probably going to leverage that first, leading to Crystal Dungeons, but we'll have to wait and see how this plays out before we can kind of get judgmental about it. All right, Osse's going to go ahead and check out the Mama Turtle area here. Meanwhile, SNT making his way through the Fantoon fight, struggling a little bit with the Dopplers, but it's not too bad. He's pretty safe with the gear he has. But Osse's scouting out a nice Master Sword here on the pedestal. No, he doesn't have anything. That's unfortunate. I was going to think if he had any items that can get him to that Master Sword, but he doesn't have Spring Ball, doesn't have Morph Bombs. Unfortunately, wouldn't be able to get that with a CWJ. At least I don't believe. All right, and SNT finishing off Fantoon with a nice little super there. All right, so what Osse's doing right now is actually sequence break. So the only thing that was in Logic for Osse with Gravity was the Mama Turtle side canyon item, I guess the missile, and the Main Street scout on the Crab Supers. So everything here he's doing, like the sand wall or the beach, whatever you want to call it, and the wishing well up here is not in Logic because Gravity jumps currently in normal Logic are not in Logic. We're just seeing a whole lot of sequence breaking right now. It's kind of cool, to be honest. SNT making his way through Wreck Ship, again sequence breaking it. We're going to see what's at the... What did I call this room again? Oh, I can't even remember what I called this room, Maniacal, but yeah, he's going to get the red rubies here. Wishing Well not really having too much either. I want to say it was the Danger Will Robinson room, but I can't remember, to be honest, guys. All right, so as Osse makes his way to the Aqueduct area, we're going to see SuperNinTaylor save here. The reason why he's saving is he's going to kind of apply a tactic that's known in SM as save scumming. What that means is he's going to go ahead and check out the wreck ship reserve here. But if he doesn't like what he sees, he's not going to commit all the travel going back with it. So he's just going to reset his console or emulator or whatever he's on and basically get back to that save warp and save a bunch of time. Is that even possible? I've never seen someone attempt a snail clip from there. That's pretty crazy. I guess it could be. Like the pipes are pretty spaced out. That would have been nuts. Now I want to try that. All right, but yeah, we see nothing on Aqueduct. Snail clip, of course, not in Logic in normal mode, but it's very, very handy. And we see high jump boots. That's a great sequence break here at Wreck Ship Reserve. So, or the Wreck Ship E-Tank, sorry. So SNT is gonna go ahead and keep those. He's not gonna save scum. He's gonna want to hold on to those for dear life. Essentially the boots of SM for sure. All right, and we see Osse exploring the stamp hits here. I like to think of it as more of a lottery. You never know what you're going to get. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But in this spot, I don't think he's going to be happy with what he sees. He just got grappled. The reason why I don't like it is because it does open up Rex ship out of logic still, but it also opens up our good friend Shacktool, who's not really my friend, but he's your friend, but is now in logic. It's kind of a weird mix of in logic, out of logic going on right now. Yeah, I can't stand the Shacktool play, to be honest. But you know what? I completely agree with him doing this. I'm in the same boat. If I go to or if I go to Meridia early and I get grapple the way I just did at Sandpits, I'm probably going to chase Shacktool in a fit of rage. I mean, I would really not be happy. I'm essentially forced into the play, so I feel like that's what Osse's going through right now as well. What are you doing, Osse? You gotta be. You should be punishing him. Pull out that grapple and just start, torturing the guy. Made you come all the way over here. Drive all the way over. He's taking his sweet time for probably a big 20. That would be great. If he just kind of nukes Shacktool before he gets through the last wall. Has to be at the last wall, though. Oh, I missed it on SuperNinTaylor's side, but the sequence break continuing to pay off for him as he finds the boots. Very nice find in the attic missile area. And Shacktool doing Shacktool things and having a 5 bomb capacity. That's why he's trash. I hate Shacktool. Let that be known. I feel like anytime I commentate, guys, it's like a PSA of why you should never do Shacktool. Or murder him, either way. All right, so Osse's going to go ahead and check out the right sandpit here. I actually like the play of going to Shack and then resetting, because he doesn't really need that grapple to get around. It does open up. Ooh, he's going to like that way more. He's going to like that way more. That's a nice hook shot there on the right sandpit. We're finding good finds on both players' kind of sequence break adventures. SuperNinTaylor's side, we saw the high jump boots and the regular link to the pass boots. And on Osse's side so far, we've seen grapple that kind of led to nothing so far, but more importantly, we saw the hook shot. That hook shot might be important if, say, Swamp Palace is required or something in Hookshot Cave. And of course, going past Moldorm too if our runners can't hover. But it is what it is. It's a good break on both sides, I would say, at this point. And SuperNinTaylor going through the cutscene right now. So if you don't have like a Campfly or a reliable Campfly, you kind of have to go through the motions of going the long way to this kind of mountain missile pack in Rex Ship area. Osse's coming back to Mama Pedestal. I'm intrigued. Oh, I see what he's going to do. When did he get morph bombs? Do they always have those? Have I been asleep this whole race? But yeah, he's just going to IBJ up to that Master Sword. It was upper left Meridia. Thank you, Epi. A wonderful tracker there helping me out there. We just got so much cool stuff happening right now, guys. It's hard to follow. But yeah, we see SuperNinTaylor going through the bowling alley. He's going to be checking out the gravity vanilla location and the missiles before the wreck ship reserve. Osse, on the other hand, he's kind of done with Meridia for now. He got his Master Sword, which he's probably going to be happy about. It's going to option off some flex options to him in Link to the Past. He's going to be a lot stronger now. Bosses and dungeons are going to be a lot more maneuverable. So he's going to be happy with that find. And he's going to... I kind of like this play. He's going to go right ahead to the business center. And from there, he probably will option to East Death Mountain. And probably Darkwold Death Mountain, too. Oh, wait, that's right. He doesn't have his Titans yet. So he's only going to be able to do East Death Mountain. That could be a very intriguing storyline to start this race, I guess. Is the difference of SuperNinTaylor having that Titan mitt versus Osse's only regular glove. So it's all dependent on when Osse decides to option Wreck Ship. I'd also be interested to see if Osse chases Wreck Ship a little bit faster, just because he knows where Grapple is, and that could have put it in logic for him, although he knows that he was sequence breaking anyways, so it'll be interesting to see what he does next. I think it's East Death Mountain, but we'll see. All right, so yeah, Osse is going to elect to go ahead and save the old man first, and then he will be probably climbing up the mountain. He can either go to Hera, or he could go across now with that hook shot. And SuperNinTaylor making quick work of the Betty Peeves room, being a little careful just because he is starting to run a little low on energy. Can't blame him for that, just because he doesn't have Varia. Spikes are going to do full damage, so he just wants to try and conserve as much energy as he can. And the old man just having the bomb capacity. Nice little D-boost on SuperNinTaylor's side to get across the Alpha Peeves area very quickly. And sees double missiles for his efforts, unfortunately. But he'll pick them up. He needs the ammo right now. So we see a full heart container on Spectacle Rock. And inside, it looked like a missile pack. That was a very quick look, but he doesn't look too intrigued by it. All right, so in SuperNinTaylor's side of things, he's going straight down the red shaft here. He's probably going to end up going towards Spazer and Crate area. I don't know if he's going to go to Meridia just yet, though, just because he's so much he can do now in Link to the Past. It'll be interesting. If he just chooses to go Crate to Business Center, he has a great out to go ahead and do Darkwold Death Mountain and East Death Mountain right away. Although he doesn't have the added benefit of having the hook shot like Osse does, but it's still a good option for him, like to get that Darkwold map, to scout out TR's medallion if it's required. So a lot of options available to him. So we see a quick start here in Hera with the big key being in the second chest here in the main room. All right, not dropping a power bomb there might indicate that he's going to leave it for now. We'll see if he just decides to do it later, but for now, I would say he's going to go Business Center to East Death Mountain. Honestly, having a little bit of trouble. He was actually trying to pre-prime his bombs before the bomb jump there, and he was doing sword spins. So the reason why he's doing sword spins is it was, I think it was known, but it wasn't really well utilized until about maybe 7 months ago. But a little bit of a fall there. But you're able to basically use sword spins as you're going towards a pit, and if you release the sword spin and hold direction away from the pit, it'll actually stop your movement right on the perfect pixel of where you want to bomb jump. So the sword spin acts as a safety and makes bomb jumps way more reliable than they used to be. And Craig giving a little bit of trouble to SMT. He's waiting for the perfect claw movement to kind of get the Craig quick kill, and unfortunately, he only gets one portion of it open. So he doesn't quite get the quick kill. We are going to see the DLC from his side. Nazi making quick work of Moldorm. Well done. He gets a shield. And guys, that's why he's called Trolldorm. Ooh, that's a nice item. So that's going to push... Oh, that's unfortunate for Aussie. So that's Screw Attack on Lonely Island. Or as people like to follow it with Free Seed if people run into it. Right up there with Charged Plasma. More or less makes SM movement and maneuverability very free. Provides iframes, provides instant kill to almost every enemy in the game. Minus specific cases such as like a Shack Tool or Boss, but it's a very powerful item to get early on. And with them not kind of dipping in Norfair or Lower Norfair, he's definitely going to want that before he routes that in. But in SuperNinTaylor's side of things, he can get there. While he doesn't have the hook shot, he does have full access to that Lonely Island with the Mirror and Titan Mitts. So he'll be able to grab that on his pass through the Death Mountain area. And Spring Ball, awesome. So in Aussie's case, it's not actually a meme for him to find that. He's actually very happy to find that Spring Ball. What the Spring Ball can do is allow our runners to kind of get around a requirement of high jump in areas like worst room in the game by doing what's called a Spring Ball jump. Won't go too much into the details for that until we kind of get into that scenario, but he's probably very happy to find that right now. We also see Wave from the 7 Chest Cave, so he's also happy to see that. So with Wave Beam in normal logic, it's going to open up all the blue gates in normal logic. So basically, Wave Gate and Bryn Loop and our friend Crocomire will also be opened up once they find Varia. SuperNinTaylor actually right now continuing on with the sequence breaks. He's decided to go on over to the Ice Beam area. So he's going to check Crumble Tower first, and then probably head on over to Ice. I don't know if he saved Scum, if he's playing the save Scum this by going to Crumble first, but we'll have to wait and see. So currently what makes this sequence break is Crumble Tower and Ice actually require 2 requirements, is Varia and Speed right now to be able to get through in logic. So it's kind of a play to go for it early. You have to understand that you're committing like a couple minutes to 2 items that might not have anything just because of the logical requirements. But if there is something there, that could be a nice big break. Aussie's side of things, however, he just found his Tempered Sword on in Hype Cave, so he's going to be very happy about that. And we see our map here. Pendant, Mire, and Skull Woods, and we also see the 5-6 crystals being Ice Palace and Thieves Town. So now our runners kind of know what the requirements are to complete the seed. The only unknown in SM side of thing within Logic is how they're going to get to Lower Norfair at this point. I mean, with Swamp Palace being a crystal, I mean, they more or less know that they're going to run into flippers eventually, and that could get them to Meridia area through the back warp in the Dark World shopping mall area. But for Lower Norfair, there's two ways to get through in Logic, and that's Space Jump in Gravity and Varia, or Flute Titans in through the Mire area warp. So it'll be intriguing to see how they're meant to get in there. And right now, monies are going to be on the Mire warp just because they already have the Titans. So that's correct. Hell runs are only in Logic in hard mode of the combo randomizer, but that gates to basically all of Upper Norfair and only Screw Attack. It won't encompass was it Golden Chorizo as well, but there we see the flute on Desert. So yeah, my prediction of Mire Shed being our portal or entryway to Lower Norfair is starting to come to fruition now. So it's kind of nice. We're going to see a transport item on SuperNinTaylor's side being the boots, allowing him to get through the seed a little bit faster. Although he's missing a lot of health here. 5 hearts to what, 9 I see on Osse's side, and he doesn't have a sword yet either. So it's very intriguing what our runners are having to go through to get through the seed so far. And Osse's kind of level off that boot advantage with Flute, which is going to help him get through certain areas of the game a lot faster now. So we see the big key vanilla in Desert here. All right, so it's still too early to really call which runner is ahead. I know it's a very common theme in these kind of races. If I were to kind of award kind of an early edge right now, it would be Osse, just because, again, he has Tempered Sword versus no swords for SuperNinTaylor. So while SuperNinTaylor has boots to kind of get him around the overworld a little bit quicker, he's going to get slowed down quite a bit by a lot of nuances where he's going to have to menu around, and switch off to hammer or other items to kind of deal with the enemies around him. Oh man, that Moldarm though. I like how SNT literally skated along the full edge of that middle pit. That would have dropped him 2 floors, but he's not having any of that and finishes him off. Nice recovery by SuperNinTaylor. Gets his Fisher Price shield. He's not happy about that, but that's fine. He's like, I just got a shield for that, man. It happens, guys. Randomizer's not always kind. All right, so just a quick recap on what's going on, guys. This is the winner SMZ3 or Super Metroid Link to the Past combo randomizer tournament. We're currently in the Swiss rounds, and this is a 3-0 matchup between Osse101 and SuperNinTaylor. Both highly skilled runners, so this is a very premier matchup you're watching today. Yo, I really like that fight from Osse's side. That was very clever. So what he did was he charged up a spin to kind of ping ball into another Lammo to kill him, and then he was able to finish off with the Tempered Sword slash there. That was very impressive. So we see SuperNinTaylor flexing teammates that like to play, to get able to hopefully someone and of course grew from this play. Well, All right, guys, I'm back. What'd I miss? Sorry about that, guys. We had some internet difficulties on my end. Let me just get resituated. I'll be right back with you guys. Yo, there was a hover to speed boost and I missed it. I'm so mad, guys. I'm so mad. That's pretty sick, though. Hover to hookshot cave, getting that. So we know that speed unlocked is unlocked by the hookshot. That opens up basically every kind of seed sequence break they've done with speed boosters. That unlocks the hammer. And I see Osse got the flippers as well. So what that flipper means is that puts everything kind of back in logic now. So the flippers were intended to go through the back of Meridia area through the Dragon spot. That would have allowed them to get their hook shot in logic, and then they would have been able to get speed through there. And also grapple to put Wreck Ship in logic as well. So it's pretty intriguing how the seeds kind of worked out so far. Again, as we can tell, until that space jump is found, that was the logical requirement to get around Meridia to get that hook shot and grapple. I'd say it's too early to call like an advantage too from that speed play. Speed really only locks a couple of key components for our runners right now, and they can get around most of that with sequence breaks as is. The only speed locked locations are kind of hard locked to speed are going to be Bryn Speed, Turian Speed. So Bryn Waterway and the Turian Shaft Supers, or the old Turian Criteria Shaft Supers, if you will. Now, my question is right now is where is Varia at? That's why I'm really wondering. Also, shoutouts to SuperNinTaylor finally getting a sword. Alright, so I do know that historically Osse doesn't like the early wreck ship play as well, so I'm kind of wondering when he's going to route it in. He keeps running into Link to the Past logic. He actually might try to put it off for a Go mode wreck ship, and that is exactly the item that's going to keep him away from wreck ship, actually, is that Varia suit. So this is really... That was the one item I was kind of looking for to see where it's in. Now we're kind of getting full encompass on how we're going to route this. So on Osse's side of things, it's kind of a little murkier. I would say SuperNinTaylor... no, actually, Osse has the flute. SuperNinTaylor has Titans. I mean, that... that Dark World Mire Shed warp to lower Nerfer looks really good right now. In Logic, but unfortunately, both our runners are missing some key components. Osse in the Titan Mitts, and SuperNinTaylor in the Flute. Flute, of course, was at the Desert Ledge, and the Titan Mitts were in a very accessible spot at Wreck Ship Pedestal Missile, leading to Wreck Ship itself. And quite a nice fight from Osse there. Hammer blind gets it and gets a super pack for his worth there. And why is he using hammer? Swag. That's it. He could be comfortable with it, but it's mostly swag. All right, so we're getting 3 bombs from the Dig Cave on Osse's side. We're going to see how SuperNinTaylor handles his blind fight. Looking like it's going to be more of a scripted fight here with the sword. He's not looking to swag today. He's all business. He wants that 4-0. We do see a plasma there on Stumpy, which is also very nice to get paired with that early charge. So now beam strength's pretty high. All right, so I guess the developing story on this race now is really what's going to be more worth with the route choices and what our gear is from the decisions they made in Super Metroid. So SuperNinTaylor decided to break Wreck Ship early, which led to boots, high jump boots, and essentially actually Titans. Even though that wasn't a sequence break, it was in Logic on the way to Wreck Ship, but it still led him there. Whereas Osse decided to break Meridia early and was able to retrieve the hook shot early, and I believe the book as well. I could be wrong on that one, but again, it's interesting how they have different sets of gears, and it's going to set them on 2 different routes right now. SuperNinTaylor, of course, also hovering Hookshot Cave to get that speed, so that's another kind of side story to see how that develops. The book was in Logic. Thank you for the correction. Appreciate that. I would rather not misinform our very nice viewers here today. Except for Ak, if Ak is watching. Got him. And yeah, we see Graveyard Ledge not having too much worth, just the big 20 here. And just missiles at the King's Tomb. All right, SNT with the back 3 of Escape. I don't know if we've seen this or not yet. Actually, it's been a while. We could have, but I might have missed it. I had some internet issues there a little bit earlier on, so. We do get the small key, missile, and a heart piece, so nothing really too worth there. All right, so SuperNinTaylor with that Varia in tow, he's going to go ahead and option onto Norfair area right now. Can't blame him for the play, considering now he has protection against heat rooms, and it is in logic. What I expect him to do with this commitment is probably take it all the way to Lower Norfair, but he has one side option there with that play, and that's going to be Crocomire area. So we'll be interested to see what he does with it. Now, he's going ahead to check the Cathedral area here just because he wants to see what this item is. So that's why, if you're wondering why he didn't take the Speedway through the kind of little Edikun area, that's why. Not the Edikun, the Facehugger, sorry. So that tells me, yeah, he's completely focused on north versus south first. He could surprise me by by pulling the shoot on Lower Norfair, but I'd expect him to. Oh, he's going to do one better. I like this route choice. He's going to go right to Lower Norfair first, and then he's going to loop in Upper Norfair, Bubble Mountain area once he's done Lower Norfair. I like this play. So what's funny enough is that SNT is actually going to route himself into the flute this way, because once he gets through the lava dive here, he's going to be able to check out Golden Chorizo area, and there is a warp leading to Mire area. And once he mirrors, he's going to be able to pick up his flute here. So this is going to work out very nicely for him. Now he's going for a running lava dive jump. He doesn't really need to do that with high jump. He can just kind of crouch jump, and be able to kind of get up there, but he's just going to kind of go for a little bit more of a reliable run jump. He might be a little bit more comfortable with that, but again, you don't really need to do the running start for that. If he didn't have high jump, he'd have to do the running jump, but yeah, we see it kind of working out just nicely for him anyways. So that is actually a sequence break. But SuperNinTaylor doesn't know it's not a sequence break because, again, he doesn't have the flutes. He also doesn't have space jump. So space jump is the only, or one of the major requirements for in logic play for normal logic to do a lava dive. Right, so SNT is in fact going ahead and checking out the Mire area. Solid call considering he does have the mirror here. So he's going to eventually run into that flute bus. He's going to be able to check out the checkerboard cave here. And he might even route in desert now. We'll have to wait and see how he kind of tackles it. We get a fire rod at the waterfall chest in Swamp Palace. That's a great find for Osse. All right, we have Osse over here going through his Argus fight. Tempered Sword, Argus, pretty smooth fight, honestly. A couple of variants you can do. Unfortunately, he can't do any kind of hook dash shenanigans, so he's gonna have to rely on normal slashes there, hook slashes. That's okay. It's still a pretty quick fight. Gets an ice beam for his troubles. That's actually a very nice find. Ooh, and SuperNinTaylor finding her 4th sword here in Mireshed area. Getting his Master Swords. That's a very nice equalizer for him. And picks up his flute on the desert ledge. So he's probably feeling like he just hit the lottery with this route. And I can't blame him. It's a pretty sick route he's got going on right now. On Osse's side, is he going to go toward pod? Ah, okay, he's going to check out some of these flipper lock locations. Makes sense. So I wonder if he's going to check Zor area, dip out, and then maybe check the back of Dre's area, because it's in logic multiple ways now. It's in logic with the flippers using the portal, and it's also in logic with having ice. He doesn't know it yet. Also, it is in logic with speed, but yeah. Actually, sorry, no. Ice is not in logic for normal mode. My apologies. I'm thinking normal and hard logics again. So yeah, that hook shot to speed was a big find for SuperNinTaylor to put that kind of double in logic. All right, so the main question I probably have in my head right now is, when is Osse going to go ahead and check out Wreck Ship here? I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier. I do know for a fact Osse kind of likes to put off Wreck Ship, or tries to kind of gamble around it, or kind of route around it if he can. And it's very sensible because it is quite a time-consuming area of the game. And it could be a very good time save if you're able to kind of get lucky enough for the rando to kind of generate around it. But in this instance, we know it was very rich, having the boots high jump and Titan mitts outside of Wreck Ship. So it's definitely in his best interest to head over there as soon as he can. He doesn't know that yet, but he's starting to route out of options that he will have to check out that very soon. And I believe he also hasn't checked out Retro Bryn. That is why he does not have his required Bombos medallion for Turtle Rock. We do see some nice Ice Rod strats too from SuperNinTaylor's side, so that's a very crisp old ammo fight. Alright, so we're going to see nothing really in Waterfall Cave. We're going to see a heart container at the Zor Ledge. And we're going to see what the King of the Fish has for us today. And no, guys, it's not going to be Hammer. Yeah, just a super pack. Osse has some queuing there. A little surprised he's not going ahead and optioning to back a Meridia just yet, but he might have other red ideas, and we're just gonna have to see what he decides to do. Meanwhile, SNT having a blast, kind of cheesing Golden Chorizo there a little bit with the charged plasma. So the fight is actually very hard in vanilla if you don't know the setup. He's a very menacing boss. Only really charged plasma or charge shots can really hurt him, and he grabs super, so you have to use a charge beam in vanilla if you don't know a lineup. But of course, being the wily coyotes that we are, we're able to discover that if you set yourself up properly to where Golden Chorizo is, you can actually just cheese him by standing up and aiming up and using charge shots or supers to be able to kill him. So it makes the fight very, very free. It's actually one of the freest fights in the game, I'd say. Ooh, Osse is going for the Meridia play, but he's running a little bit low in health here, so he's going to have to be careful. But it does look like, indeed, he will be optioning for that back Meridia play. Still wants nothing to do with Wreck Ship. Meanwhile, we have SNT going through the worst room in the game. He's going to use some high jump shenanigans to get through the wall here with a nice, well-timed wall jump and get through it, no problems. All right, so Osse kind of going through a little bit of a slog through just the main room before Dragon here. Fortunately, does not have that speed boost to get either a halfy or full halfy, but does some nice spike boost to get through the room a little bit quicker than normal if you're just to use wall jumps. All right, so for Osse's side, he's going to have more or less a vanilla fight here. Doesn't really have a lot of tools to dispose with Dre, but he's going to probably rely fully on charge shots. If he had X-ray, he'd be able to cook it. If he kept his grapple, he'd be able to fry it. He could use supers and power bombs to kind of deal away with the mucus, I guess, that he drops, but he's just going to go ahead with charge shots, and it's going to deal with them pretty quickly. And there we go. Nice time fight, considering what his gear was. SuperNinTaylor actually really protecting his super count there with the golden tree, or not the golden Chorizo, the golden space pirates, actually electing to use a couple of charge beams there. We see a bow at the back of Dre, so that's a very nice find for Osse. He's gonna be happy with that. That's more or less gonna push him towards pod now. So again, he's not gonna go to Wreck Ship. He's probably gonna chase that bow to pod. I mean, it's at the point where you're like an hour 26 in, you're only looking for a precious few amount of items, so you're going to want to probably start leaning towards chasing the logic a little bit more. So finding that bow, that to me looks really like a late game item, if not the end of the chain, but he doesn't know, again, where those titans are, so he's probably thinking they probably are in pod or bow locked. And he's also missing bombos as well. On SuperNinTaylor's side, a very nice Ridley fight there. Again, protecting those supers. Costs 30 supers to kind of get through Ridley there. And he drops a lot of supers too. Wow. 6 supers. That's quite a bit for him. So he's going to be happy with that too. Just gets 5 arrow capacity for his troubles, but he's going to be happy to have that boss out of the way. Honestly, guys, this is a pretty fast race from both our runners. They're about an hour 27 in. Osse's side of things, he has 4 crystals done, 2 bosses in SM. He's going to have his 5th crystal very soon. And on SuperNinTaylor's side, has 3 major bosses done in SM and 3 crystals. So excellent pace from both our runners right now. Answer a quick question, chat. Bombos was actually at Retrobrin, and it was at the far right wall. So when you get morph, you pass the Bryn ceiling item, and there's that missile pack right along the wall in vanilla, and that was where the Bombos was located. All right, and our boy Osse, he's gonna go ahead and head on into pod now. Again, can't blame him. Just gets the bow from Meridia. As far as he knows, that's where he's hoping or feeling he's going to find Titan Mitts or Bombos. I would say more Titan Mitts at this point, just because he's starting to get really reduced on what he can do. So he's rightfully so chasing a crystal and going to see what happens with it. So I know we've been talking a lot about Osse's side of things, of how he's routing and what he's kind of thinking about right now. I'll kind of pop into SuperNinTaylor's head right now as a runner, and I'm going to say that he's going to probably continue on to Meridia now, where he's at, especially having that speed boost. Well, I mean, it kind of is a little scary to kind of chase that and maybe not find anything, but it's another SM boss. It's going to take him 10 minutes to kind of full clear with that speed. But I think at this point, for what he's looking for, it's a well-timed investment. The problem is, he's only going to run into a bow and hookshot, and for the most part, that hookshot only unlocks stuff he already has. And the bow may or may not unlock anything in pod here, so again, his story is he needs to head on over to Skullwoods to get his flippers, because the Fire Rod, of course, is in Swamp Palace. And we're also going to get our first look here of Upper Norfair Bubble Mountain area, as SuperNinTaylor very wisely routed it in that he knew he's going to go to Lower Norfair through a vanilla exit, so now he's ending up right at Wave. He's going to be able to check out Vanilla Speed area and also the Norfair Reserve area in Bubble Mountain. So it's a nice little 7-item send away from the exit to Lower Norfair. He also is going to get an 8th item in the Bubble Mountain base. That'll probably be his exit strategy to scout that out. Actually, I think he already did, so he knew it was just missiles or something, so he's going to be okay. So other than that, I guess we're just looking for Red Cane as well for Go. Osse setting up his hammer jump here, well executed. Very tight pixel perfect bomb jump. A double pixel perfect bomb jump is to drop the bomb at a specific pixel and to be able to place yourself in the correct pixel to be able to get the bomb blast clipping you through the railing there. Now, what they use is a lot of the times they'll use a pause buffer to kind of align themselves properly, and they're going to look for visual cues to kind of be able to tell them where to line up. And we do get a little bit of a reward for Osse, getting his space jump here at the Dark Maze. So now that puts in, for him at least, in Logic Lower Norfair. So, again, it looks like Osse's really chasing the Logic. He might go to Lower Norfair next. And once again, I can't blame him. He's in his shoes where he put off Wreck Ship for so long. He might just hope to be able to go mode it at this point. And a non-required Ether Medallion as well has been found in the Terrapin room. Alright, so you might have noticed on Osse's side, he actually skipped that last doorway there, which would have led to the Harmless Hellway in Pod, but that's because he knows with how Pod logic works, is that would actually be another small key, so he wouldn't need to kind of go in there, grab a small key by spending a key, and then head to Helma, because Helma's door is guarded by another final small key door, so that's why he kind of mirrored out and didn't check that location. Alright, so SuperNinTaylor has decided to option to Croc. I don't blame him, considering what he's missing. It is a very tidy check. It's going to cost him somewhere in around 3 minutes to accomplish, though. Could be even 4 minutes, depending, because he doesn't really have space or anything like that. But he does have speed, so it will be quite quick. Again, he's at the late portion of the game. He doesn't really want to leave too much unturned, and that's been playing kind of how he's strategized the seed, is leave no stone unturned. And that's falling well in line with that right now. Alright, as Osse is entering in his Helmet fight, he's going to have Hammer and Tempered. Should have no problems with this fight. He's going for safer strats. He's scaring me here. He's scaring me. Stop this, Osse. Stop this madness. And he fast charged him too against the wall. That could have been very scary. If he didn't charge his spin there, Osse actually would have died. So that spin actually saved him a good 2 minutes for having to go back to Helma. So that was a really good bailout there. I'm not sure if he meant to do that or if he was just going for like a spin damage on him to be able to do 2 less slashes against him, but that was good. It's close. SuperNinTaylor, I think, saw red mail at the cosign room, decided not to grab it. Interesting for him, at least, just because he's pretty low health from when I last saw him in Link to the Past. So, again, he's just really comfortable with his Link to the Past execution. I would say it's excellent. So, again, he's just probably looking at small time saves at this point in the game. And, yep. Osse going right for Norfair. I'm not surprised with him finding space jump like that. He knows Lower Norfair now is in logic for him. Probably unfortunate that he ran into that space jump, because if he didn't run into it in Pod, that's like a good tell for him that he needs to get back in logic somehow, and Lower Norfair is not the play. So he probably option against it. But finding the space jump is saying, hey, it's all good. You know, you could do this now, but he more or less won't find what he wants or needs at this point. Also, SNT looked like he was trying to wall jump up through the Croc escape area. Unfortunately, he can't do it. With just high jump, you need morph bombs to be able to IBJ, or he could spring ball jump it if he got it, but only Osse has that in his possession right now. He does have speed, and he could do a Stutter 3 charge on the top platform, but Stutter 3 is gross. It's really, really tough to get the timing down and the proper inputs. And you can actually end up spending more time wasting just trying it rather than kind of getting it. So I kind of agree with him kind of avoiding it if he's not super comfy with it. All right, so Osse now heading on over to the Golden Chorizo. He's actually going through the vanilla route. So the reason why he's going vanilla versus SuperNinTaylor kind of sequence breaking the Green Gate is that SuperNinTaylor didn't have Space Jump. And Space Jump is actually hard code locked required to get to this left side of Golden Chorizo's room. So that one item you can't get, and it has the drop floors. So he's going here hoping that that space is going to lead to something, and he can just kill off a free Golden Chorizo anyways with his beam combo. All right, so he's just going to morph. He's going to kind of debate Golden Chorizo, for lack of a better term, into the back wall here. He's going to set up his pixel right along the left thigh of Golden Chorizo and just cheese him to death now. And it's a very quick fight with full beam. Also to note, kind of another good thing right now for Osse's side of things of not having Bombos is it's not going to kind of route him into Meyer. Meyer could have the red cane, but right now it's probably in his best interest he didn't make that play, just because, again, it's going to put him farther away from Wreck Ship, and he needs to go there soon. SuperNinTaylor side of things, he just got his Temper Sword from the Mama Turtle pedestal, and it looks like he's going to go and option a full clear Emerdia as well. And now Osse getting his Butter Sword from the Meyer Shed area. All right, so I guess since we're seeing our runners kind of do similar things that the others have done, so we kind of aren't really getting too new information. It's a good time to kind of recap what we've seen, what's going on right now. So we got a Super Metroid Link to the Past combo randomizer tournament going on right now for the winner. It is a cash tournament where the prize pool is, I think, about $800. So winner takes home half that prize pool, which is kind of nice. And we're in currently round 4 of Swiss. Both our runners today, Osse101 and SuperNinTaylor, are 3-0. Very skilled runners. I would say Osse favors in SM versus SuperNinTaylor favoring in Link to the Past, but both are very adept at both games. So it's quite a premier matchup we're seeing today. Now, in kind of the storyline of things, we've seen Osse. Essentially, what it came down to was an early break of Wreck Ship versus an early break of Meridia. Osse electing to break Meridia very early was rewarded with a hook shot. And I think something else. I can't quite remember right now, guys. Sorry. But also SuperNinTaylor breaking Wreck Ship early for high jump boots, regular boots, and his oh, I forgot what the other item was. Oh no. It's coming to me, guys. Don't. Oh yeah, the Titans. That's what it was on the moat pedestal. So really, those kind of lack of items we're still seeing. So Osse still hasn't gotten his Titan mitts, and SuperNinTaylor is about to find his hook shot. Although on SuperNinTaylor side of things, he kind of got around the hookshot requirement for the most part by hovering hookshot cave and getting his speed. However, that hookshot's going to be more critical for the play to Swamp Palace to find his fire rod. And on top of that, he's going to need to go to Skullwood's big chest to get his flippers that will unlock that fire rod in Swamp Palace. All right, SNT sees that grapple and he's like, no thanks. I don't want to go to Shack. Although he does have the option, he does have Ice Beam, so he could Ice Clip to Shack Tool if he so required. Ice Clipping not in logic in normal mode, but he does have the option to do so if he so chose. And it looks like he's going to spare the right sandpit for an exit here. In not having done or have done Wreck Ship, that's kind of a smart play. It's going to lead him back to that Norfair Business Center warp, which will probably be his end gate here. Also, interesting of note, I don't think we've seen Plasma yet from both our runners, so it'll be intriguing to see if SuperNinTaylor decides to option that once he's done Dragon's Lair. All right, on Osse's side of things, he's got an important fight here. He's pairing up with Ridley right now. He's going to go for some charge beam strats, and he's getting some early pogos. That's rounding up for a very early clean fight for him. So what he tried to do there was he actually tried shooting Ridley in the back. So what that does when Ridley pogos is it actually forces him to turn around and face you. So it's a well-known mechanic for the Ridley fight. Actually allows runners to kind of go to the more favorable left side. Reason why it's more favorable is on the left side of that pogo, you're actually able to stand right on the ledge or the cliff of that walkway there above the lava and just kind of infinitely spam charge shots or supers until he's done his pogoing. And you know, a decent fight there. A little timely with the charge. Probably could have switched to supers there, but still, he got the job done. And on SuperNinTaylor's side, he's setting up his Dragon fight. He's switching more for a super fight. And ooh, it looks like he's going to use some charge here. We're going to... Dragon's not really playing nice today for that. Ooh, gets grabbed there. So he's going to be able to mash his directional inputs here to kind of get out of that grab scenario. And as you see, Mama Drade is not like when you kind of wrestle around, so she'll promptly drop you after you're moving around a bunch. It gets grabbed again, unfortunately, so that's a little time-consuming on the fight so far. But yeah, he switched back to charge shots, which is great, because charge shots are going to do way more damage than continual super spam. And gets through the fight. Well done. All right, and picks up his bow at post tray. Meanwhile, Osse getting his E-Tank at the Fire Fleas area. Going to go through the Lower Norfair exit, the PBs in jail, and Order Ruby special missiles. Not really find too much worth, leading to the Upper Norfair area of Bubble Mountain. Again, not really for too much worth. Yeah, SuperNinTaylor actually had a kind of an odd fight for Dragon. He was very off-putting, I would guess, for charge. Sorry, for the Shine Spark kill. So I think he just kind of bailed on it because it was taking too long and decided to go for charge kills. Because ultimately, it's not worth going for something like, say, Spike Suit if Dragon's just taking way too long to fight. And it just compounds too by missing Shine Sparks into him as well. All right, SNT setting up another save. Tells me he's going to go for that that red room exit. He might even just go for plasma from this spot here. So the way he could go for plasma is he could take the left sandpit, or the right sandpit exits, leading to hookshot here, and then he could option to go up towards plasma as well. I think if he finds a hookshot here, he's gonna probably know something's up. I mean, he's sequence broke what hookshot currently can unlock, and it's not as progressive as he kind of hoped. So he's gonna know that something else is up, like a flipper or maybe even a red cane, kind of getting him from Turtle Rock at this point. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes once he gets that hookshot that he just grabbed. Oh, and he's going to option for plasma. So this is interesting. If we have a red cane here at plasma, Osse could be in serious trouble here. Plasma is not ideal to route back to in any sense of the word if you've originally skipped it, say from an original Meridia dip. It's a one-off location. To get to it's going to cost about 4.5 minutes for one item. So it's pretty much last location city for that one. So in his best interest, or in the best interest of this race keeping close, we don't want to see anything at plasma here. A mirror shield, so that luckily is not progressive in any way, shape, or form with their current gear. So not really worth, but it looks like SNT is going to keep it anyways because he does have that hook shot. I think either way you slice it, even if you reset or if you just continued on with that mirror shield, it'd be almost about the same amount of time to go back to that sandpit, get the hook shot, go back left, versus kind of going the route he is, because it's going to lead him to the same area anyways. So the question I have is, where is this red cane at? And I'm starting to think it could be Meyer. Osse, please, with those. So Osse abusing how Croc's kind of hitbox works, and he doesn't damage you on like the mouth or the side body area, especially when he's stun locked. So just kind of goes for a little bit of a ride there with the morph ball on the top of the head. No big deal, it's just Croc surfing. So what have we not seen so far? I believe we've seen Lumberjacks. I could be incorrect on that, but I think we have. We haven't seen Mire yet, and we haven't seen Ice Palace yet. So SNT could be not playing for Ice Palace right now because he knows he needs flippers in Logic to get there, so he might not want to waste his time. But I think at this point, the best spot for Red King to pop from what we've seen is probably going to be at Ice Palace. Either via Ice Palace itself or the Fat Fairy combination that will be unlocked with the Fat Fairy, the big red bomb at Pyramid. All right, Osse electing to grab his red mail, and SuperNinTaylor warping to Sanctuary. I think this is going to be the Skullwoods play here. And if that's where he's headed, then I think Osse could be in some serious trouble here if he doesn't route in Wreck Ship early. He's going to cash in his flute. Okay, so let's see where he goes here. I don't want to live in that world where Red King's at Waterway. To be honest, that's a pretty bad troll. I don't believe we've even seen Shaft Supers, so the Turian Speed location, or the old Turian Speed location. So that is also available, unless I missed a scout of it early on. Where's SNT going? Okay, it looks like he's going to do this Smith's Purple Chest sequence. Where are you going? Yeah, Smith's Purple Chest sequence. Oh, okay, so he just didn't grab the purple chest yet. Does that mean he's thinking about Mire? It'll be interesting to see where he goes next after this purple chest drop off. So where is Osse going to go? I know he's going for Ice Beam and Crumble right now, but where is he going to go next? And our runners are actually starting to get limited on options too. So on SNT side, it's pretty much what he can go to Pod because he has that bow now. I believe he hasn't been to Eastern as well, so he has that option plus one item at Armos we haven't seen. We also have that Skullwoods play to get his flips into Swamp. Osse side, he's almost done everything in Link to the Past he can do in Logic. Probably wants to, again, the big area that he hasn't done is Wreck Ship, and he definitely wants to head over there. And I'm also going to prognosticate that once Osse heads on over to Wreck Ship and gets boots and high jump, he's probably going to feel quite behind too. Because I would imagine if I was in his shoes and I did like a 2-hour Wreck Ship play and found those two items there, I'd feel a little behind, just based on the speed gains you would get. And Epi's pointing out our tracker also, yes, Osse does have Retroprint as well. Again, just as unfortunate because it's another location he could possibly prolong looking for bombos. So it looks like Osse might be going for Spike Cave here. Yep, that's what he's going for. And we do have SuperNinTaylor heading on over to Pod as well. So again, like these runners know exactly what they're looking for. They're smart enough chaps. They're gonna know that in SuperNinTaylor's side, he's either looking for the Fire Rod or Flippers to pop next. And Ossie's side, he's longing for these Titans because there's not a whole lot that is open to him in Logic. So him resetting to Super Metroid gives me a lot of hope that he's about to go to Wreck Ship now. And I would love for him just to get those Titan mitts and bounce. That would actually be really cool to see. But he's also going to need the boots in Wreck Ship because I believe Ice Rod is boot locked as well. So he definitely does not want to miss out on it. All right, Ossie, where are you going to go? Are you going to Retro Bryn? He's going to Retro Bryn. Okay, so this is good. It's actually probably better that he goes to Retro Bryn first. He doesn't know it yet, but if he got his Titans, I would severely doubt he would ever check Retro Bryn until probably last. So he'll run into a Bombos, and again, he doesn't know it's good yet, but he's going to be happy to find it early. And then running into a bomb or a Titan mitt is going to be really good for his route. And I get it that if he does get his Bombos, he might be considering Meyer, but I'll put it to you this way: I'd be very surprised if he chased Meyer with that Bombos. If he had Red Cane, I definitely see the play. But without it, and he's missing quite a bit of items in progression right now, I can't see him doing it, but I could be surprised here. Right, and SNT making his way through pods, not finding very much so far, but he will be a little rewarded with the space jump in the Dark Maze. Now, not very useful to him because he's more or less cleared out SM. He has all 4 major bosses done, has a lot of catching up to do in Link to the Past. Meanwhile, Ossie just has Phantoon left to do with 5 crystals. So it's a 4 SM boss, 3 crystals split with 5 Link to the Past bosses and 3 SM bosses split for Ossie. I'd probably say advantage still goes to Ossie because he figured out that whole flipper to fire rod chain, which is quite annoying to kind of get through. Whereas, again, he's going to route himself into Titans eventually, and that will probably put him back into even kill tree with SuperNinTaylor. Ooh, we're going to see the X-ray play yet. We have not seen this yet. Of course, neither of our runners having Space Jump for the original dips into Super Metroid. So now with Space Jump, that is in Logic. It also was in Logic with Grapple, but of course, both our runners decide not to go for it. And just a super pack there for Ossie on X-Ray, so we know that is not worth. It's funny, guys. I wasn't kidding. Ossie does not like Wreck Ship. He really doesn't like it. And I can't blame him. If you put it off for so long, when it's been in progression for so long, you're hoping that you can kind of get around by just doing Fantune and bailing, because then you're shaving like 7 or 8 minutes off the time on Wreck Ship. So, but it looks like he's gonna have to finally bite the bullet here. And again, look for the play for him possibly getting those tight mitts and bailing. If that happens, that could be extremely problematic for Osse. SuperNinTaylor's side though, like his routing's been very safe, so he's eventually gonna wise up and go to that Skullwoods area and get his flippers into Fire Rod. I don't really think the mitts have really gained SuperNinTaylor anything other than speed also at this point either, so. All right, moment of truth. He's definitely going right, guys. He's going to run into his Titans. We're going to have to look to see what he does after that. And SuperNinTaylor also finishing off Helmasaur for his 4th crystal. So he's quickly catching up on Osse's crystal count. So now he's almost ahead of Osse, I would say, in terms of both progression and time spent in the seed. Almost runs right past the Titans, but he's gonna go in. Okay, this is good. What I fear he's gonna do is do Fantune and then bail. Like he might check the first 3 locations in Wreck Ship and then bail after that, and not do the attic and ceiling, because I believe boots were in the gravity portion of Wreck Ship. And SNT kind of playing to that safe strategy is electing to dip into pot or Eastern here. I think it's his first pendant dip. I mean, we do have Mire, Eastern, Swamp, or Skull as our pendants, so it does make sense that this is his first pendant dip here. Osse picking up his half magic in the quote-unquote spooky missiles section of Wreck Ship. So unfortunately, Osse actually doesn't have X-Ray for a nice little strategy called either Hot Air Balloon or Fried Balloon, Fried Fantune, however you want to call it. But he's actually doing kind of a hybrid of it, which is really nice, which is a 4-round missile kind of payload on the first 2 phases of Doppler, and then he's going to use Charged Plasma Wave Ice to do a significant amount of damage. And what it does is really cuts down on the time of Doppler and guarantees a 2-round fight on Fantune. So it was a very, very nice fight from Osse's side, considering what his gear was. Again, I think pure optimal is either that 1-round Doppler, extremely hard to pull off. So not a lot of people can pull off that Doppler, and on the freer sides of things is that the hot air balloon strategy with X-ray buffering the full beam plasma combo. But again, a very, very nice fight from Osse. All right, is Osse going to do Osse things? Is he going to just check this last location here and bail? This, of course, I believe is high jump boots, so he will be happy to find it. Not in the sense that he just did all. Oh, sorry, that was Red Rube. High jump was later. Oh yeah, high jump was. What was it? High jump was wreck ship E tank. That's what it was. And boots were in the attic missile. Okay, he's going for the high jump. Okay, so that tells me he's gonna go for full wreck ship. Nice little ledge grab on that death spike there. Pretty clever use to kind of get around that room, because he kind of manipulated around that room very quickly with that ledge grab. Probably frowning on those high jump boots. I'm just saying, guys, he's pretty much full cleared SM without them, so he's not going to be happy to see them. Nor is he going to be happy to see those boots. It just is what it is. You're in a tournament setting, and you just found the 2 items that are going to significantly improve your pace in both games, and they're in the area you've kind of put off for 2 hours. So I expect frowns, but I could be wrong. I highly doubt I am, though. All right, are you going to keep in wreck ship? Or are you going to chase that Titan Mitt? And he's leaving. No, that's bad, dude. Oh no. Oh no, this is disastrous for Osse. He's gonna check. I can't blame him. I know how Osse likes to route. I can't blame him considering the play and considering he has Titan mitts. But this is critical for him here. He's gonna miss out on a required ice rod locked by boots. Hard lock cannot get around that. Oh no, and now he's gonna chase all the Titan lock locations. Worse yet, he can actually run into Red Cane now, and then challenge Turtle Rock looking for that ice rod. So this is devastating for him. Oh my. We very well could have just witnessed the end game, like the final end game play 2 hours in, and that's really unfortunate. Oh, I think what he's checking is Terminator back. I don't think he's checked that yet. Oh no, he's just gonna go ahead and clear out Mother Brain. Okay, makes sense. If he doesn't go for stand up, guys, I'm gonna call it the break strategy, because then he just wants a break from the seed. So tactical breaks are a thing in the combo randomizer, typically frequent 3 hours long. So he might just want a little bit of a breather to kind of wrap his head around things on how he's going to route it or attack the remainder of the seed. Fortunately, actually, it looks like he's trying to group the Metroids. Never mind. Very smoothly done too. It looked like he got accidentally grabbed, but he might have just kind of went with it and then grouped the Metroids. Hard to tell. It was pretty smooth. Unfortunately, missing that super on the second Metroid and Metroid 3, but it's still very good Metroid room so far from Osse's side. Gonna go ahead for grouping strats in Metroid 4, and he's off to Baby Metroid. SuperNinTaylor looks like he's also going to option Spike Cave here. Not a whole lot on his side of things to look for. Again, he's looking for progression, and he knows it's either gonna be Fire Rod or Flippers at this point. Where's he going? Is he going Ether? That's what he's doing. Not even going for baby skip, just straight up goes for that space jump in the right to quicken the battle. Yeah, and SuperNinTaylor's side of things, he's super gated on what he can do now. I expect in the next 3 minutes he has the Skullwoods. I don't really think there's very much, if anything, left he can do in the game, other than perhaps just go to Mother Brain to think about it. But he's pretty much gated in. I fully expect Skullwoods to be next now. You know, I saw someone in chat, Kappa, with a time to hover TR. If he's comfortable enough with his hovers, it's actually a legitimate play right now. Because if Red King's in a very odd spot, and he doesn't really want to look for the Red King, he could fully hover that if he wanted to. But then again, like it's a very tough play, primarily for the Torches room. Very, very tough hover to pull off. And yet, SuperNinTaylor heading in this skull. Gonna get his flippers from this big chest here, and that's gonna be good because that's gonna route him right in and over to Swamp Palace for another crystal, and that's gonna lead on into the Fire Rod. A little bit of a debacle with that bomb jump, but that's okay. Alright, there's his flippers. Alright, Osse's protecting his health pretty good. I think he's gonna go for stand-up. Yeah, so he's not doing a strategic break. I guess he's just gonna think about it. Alright, so the first condition of stand-up has been accomplished. So there's two portions of stand-up that you need to do. First off is you had to get your energy down to the 7 E-tanks and take the initial Rainbow Beam damage. After that, you want to get down to your last E-tank, and you would be able to basically be able to do this, is stand up throughout the fight without the knockout phase and being stuck on the ground. The second phase that we just saw was that he wanted to be jumping during two portions of the Mother Brain transition, or the Baby Metroid transition. And the first one is when Baby Metroid sweeps in, he wants to be vertical. He can do it through IBJ, wall jumps, anything. As long as he's not moving left, he would have actually went into Mother Brain. And the second, which you kind of probably caught, was right when Mother Brain or Baby Metroid kind of latches on you, you also want to be in vertical. Otherwise, he would have been stuck on the ground. So what he's doing is like a lot of extra damage to Mother Brain right now, and it's going to be able to make his Hyper Beam fight much faster. He does not want to shoot during these last two transitions, but he had a really nice stand-up. 4 beams. That's a very, very nice, crisp stand-up. I kind of average around 6 or 7. 4 beams is very aggressive. It's a very nice fight. So, also to answer the question that probably will be asked, stand-up saves about 45 seconds throughout the run. Alright, yes, and perfect stand-up is 1 beam, that is correct. Unfortunately, Osse doesn't have speed, so he was about to go through the speed hallway, but unfortunately he's going to have to walk it. And also, you probably noticed he doesn't have a timer going. So in the SMZ3 randomizer, if you do Mother Brain first before Ganon, then the countdown sequence doesn't initiate. And the reason being is that it allows you to kind of fully walk around still in SM. So what that does also too is it allows you to kind of walk around with Hyper Beam if you want. But I don't think he's gonna go back to Wreck Ship with it. If he does, then he's full out memer, but we'll see. It would actually be hilarious if he did that, but I highly doubt he will. I actually want to see if that's possible one day. I don't think I've ever tried it and try to go to another area of the game with full hyper. That'd be kind of funny. All right, rip Osse. He's going to go ahead and check out these Titan Lock locations. I'm actually a little surprised. SNT optioning to check Ice Palace. Now, he does have Bombos, but that could be very good if he runs into Red King leading to the Fire Rod and in Swamp Palace. So it could actually be a very good route in disguise. But Osse also going to follow in SuperNinTaylor's footsteps here and meet him in Ice Palace. The big difference here, and this is the end game story, guys, is that Osse is elected to skip the attic area of Super Metroid. That would have led to his boots, which currently block the ice rod. So what that means is that if Osse continues in Link to the Past, he's probably going to challenge Turtle Rock without the ice rod, whereas SuperNinTaylor will eventually run into his Fire Rod and Red Cane here. So while it looks like it's super close and Osse might have a bit of an edge here, SuperNinTaylor is doing nothing but catching up on time every minute that Osse spends away from Wreck Ship. And of course, if SuperNinTaylor finds Red King here, he's still looking for that red Fire Rod, so he's probably going to full clear ice here. Again, though, it's going to be very, very shortly before he runs in that Fire Rod. So I wouldn't be surprised if Red King is here. If it isn't, I think two places that we haven't seen, other than the speed lock locations in Super Metroid, which are that Turian Shaft Supers and the Brunstar Waterway, is Fat Fairy and Mire. But the Red Cane's totally going to be here, guys. I can feel it. Alright, so not a whole lot going on in Ice Palace so far, just a lot of cash. I think one item, there might have been two. I'm notoriously bad at keeping track of Ice and Skull item counts, so I do apologize if I missed out on that one. Yeah, more cash on SuperNinTaylor's side. Big 20 at the Freezor chest. So he's actually electing for some smart routing choice here. He did do a bomb jump, so he doesn't want to go the long way to Ice Tea Room. So he's going to go ahead and bomb jump across here and climb on down. It'll bring him to that Ice Tea chest a lot sooner than if he did the vanilla route for it. And absolutely rewarded with a big key. That's going to make for a fantastic route now. Just a map in the big chest, but again, the real win is just the route and the time save in Ice Palace by doing that bomb jump. He's allowed to get the big key early, route in the big key, and now he's just going to drop down to Cold Sear and avoid a lot of doubled up travel, going down the pit and going to Ice Tea Room and then going back to that big chest. So he saved a giant loop of time there by just doing that. So well done. Aussie looking like he's utilizing similar routing here, which is very good for him too, and he's going to be able to get his big key on the iced tea on the back. Ah, knee tank. Red Cane wasn't here. Well, rip my prediction. All right, so Fat Fairy, Meyer, Waterway, or Turian Shaft Supers. Where is it going to be? Alright, so I really like this play from SuperNinTaylor. First off, oh no, I was gonna say, shoutouts to the bomb dupe, but unfortunately just mistimed it by a fraction of time. So he's gonna have to go back and get this big red bomb, but I really do like the play to Pyramid Fairy early, rather than option to Swamp, just because, like, if he gets his double go mode here in Fat Fairy, it's gonna save a go mode Swamp now and save him a little bit of time, rather than checking all those chests in there. He's trying to time it out too. And there it is. Okay, good. So why you saw him kind of double shifting there with the 0 was he's waiting for the bomb to kind of explode. And by him kind of stuttering through the screen transitions there, he was able to time it out a little bit more coherently and was able to get it that time. We see a missile pack and the red cane. Oh no. So that's great news for SuperNinTaylor. He's now a fire rod away from go mode, and he's going to go ahead right to Swamp. Easy peasy routing for him. That's another crystal dungeon he can do, and he's going to go unopposed now on his way to TR and being go mode. Our friend Osse, however, he's got a much more grisly path here. He's going to get his red cane here. He's got options. He either wants to go to Meyer or he wants to go to TR. And considering he hasn't gone to Dark World Death Mountain yet, I could see him go for the Dark Rooms, or sorry, the Dark World Death Mountain play, Hookshot Cave, Super Bunny, and go to TR. But it looks like he's thinking about maybe doing the Smith's Purple Chest sequence because he did not, again, have those Titans early enough to do it, so he might just option here first. That's really why it was tragic for where Titans were for Osse's side of things. Like, again, knowing how he likes to route to wreck ship. And I honestly can't blame him in a 3-0 tournament match like this, getting those Titans and trying to elect kind of a play that he's going to find his go mode red or his go mode ice rod somewhere Titan locked. It really is a tragic tale, honestly, because for the most part, the race was super tight. And as I mentioned earlier, every minute that Osse spends away from wrecked ship, SuperNinTaylor is just going to gain on him. And it's almost to the point where he's going to surpass him now. And while Osse's already completed Mother Brain and Super Metroid, SuperNinTaylor will pick up that time. I think it'll still be a close race, but I think it's really giving a definitive edge to SuperNinTaylor now. It's his race to lose, I would say, at this point. And yeah, Osse gonna go right into that path I kind of forecast in Dark World Death Mountain, Super Bunny Hookshot Cave combo for 6 items, and then he's gonna probably leverage TR. Again, really, it's a sad tragic tale, honestly, but I can't blame him. He's looking at what, 6 items plus another 6 potential in TR minus the Fire Rod if the key logic works in his favor. Or I guess in this situation, works against him. And on top of that, he's doing it walking. So not only is he's kind of like double losing time here. He's not doing it fast, and he's in the wrong place at the wrong time. And SuperNinTaylor picking up his Fire Rod is now in go mode at 229, with only what? 2 crystals left to go and Mother Brain. That's pretty good pace. So he should probably sub 3 this seed still. On Osse's side of things, I mean, he's looking good. He's still 1 item away from go mode in the Ice Rod, but unfortunately, that's locked behind the boots at Wreck Ship Addicts. So it's gonna be a while till he gets there. I just don't see it, guys. I just don't see it. I honestly think it would have been a better scenario if Meyer and TR flipped their requirements. So if TR was a pendant and Meyer was a crystal, this would have been a super close race. Alright, so with SuperNinTaylor finished his 6th crystal here, he's going to go ahead and flute over to 1. Head on over to Turtle Rock, and his path's very defined. It's Turtle Rock now into Ganon's Tower. He'll finish off the Link to the Past portion of the game first, and once he has done that, he'll S and Q into a reset to Mother Brain. And Osse is indeed opening up Turtle Rock. He's actually going to go in there first, too. So, for him, like, he needs to get key-locked immediately. He needs to be key-locked from the... Oh, you know what? Never mind. He has the Fire Rod. I got my rods mixed up there for a second. So that's really bad. He's going to be able to go all the way to Laser Bridge regardless. That's not good. So it's a sunk time cost now. It's a sunk cost. He's going to spend the time here for essentially nothing, unfortunately. But yeah, both our runners have put on an excellent show so far. Really pleased with how this one's turned out. Very close to matchup up until about the last item here. which more or less a lot of randomizers will come down to. Very rarely is it like super tight, but it's just one of those cases where one made a play, one didn't, and it's going to hurt the other party. All right, so we see both Osse and SuperNinTaylor here in Turtle Rock. For those that are joining, the only major difference between our two runners right now is that SuperNinTaylor does have the Ice Rod that will be able to defeat Trinex with, and Osse does not. Osse is hoping to find the Ice Rod in Turtle Rock here. Unfortunately, again, he will not find that here. He will need to find the boots in the Wreck Ship Attic that will lead to Ice Rod at Bonk Rocks. A nice X-ray. He's finding like all the good items you want to find early with like charged plasma or movement items like high jump at the end of the game that he's already completed. So I'd be a little frustrated, honestly. Combo can do that sometimes. It's just like, hey, you want all these faster items? Here they are at end game. Have fun. Rather unfortunate, but it is what it is. So pretty clean movement throughout Turtle Rock. No big issues for both of our runners. SNT getting a little debated by the left chain chomp there, but he made it out okay. Also, we're going to probably get an illustration of the time gain of SNT kind of leapfrogging Osse here. Is that Osse's going to probably check Mimics as well, and SuperNinTaylor will skip it. So I don't know if he kind of likes the whole gamble of big chest, like say a runner like I do. But he definitely will not have to go through the 50 or so seconds to check out Mimic Cave. I think 50 seconds is a major overstatement. I'm going to say 30 seconds at the most. Sorry. But yeah, just a big 20 in that chest, unfortunately. Nothing really going to help out our runners too much else anyways. They already have found either blue or red mail. They have silvers, have butter sword. So really not much that's going to help them. They even have half magic. So a lot of luxury on the Link to the Past side of things for the end game. And we see a big chest small key. Oh man, I probably would have been roasted by that play. Then again, I probably would have went for the big chest too, just because they didn't have a small key carry to the big chest area, so it makes sense to go for it here. Ooh, magic powder, and Osse's thinking about it too. But he's going to go ahead and continue on the laser bridge. So that's unfortunately another item or location that's going to put Osse away from Wreck Ship now. So last thing he wants to do is find like a bunch of fetch quests here in Turtle Rock just to kind of elongate his position. I think we all know the next play he's going to make is probably Meyer, other than maybe the fetch quest that he will find here. Alright, so Osse going ahead and checking out the magic back here. Gonna get his +5 bomb capacity upgrade, unfortunately. SuperNinTaylor, very slick fight here with Butter Sword. Boot combo. Very nice fight, and we'll be collecting his 7th crystal. So I guess he's gonna be on his way as GT. And wait a minute. Hold the phone. What is Osse? Osse, are you making the play? He's a madman. He's doing it. Osse is going back to wreck ship. What a god. Honestly, this is the correct decision. It's not that fast to get back up, and it's gonna give him more chest or item per minute than like a Meyer play would. This is a very, very heads-up play from Osse. I'm legit impressed he didn't make the mistake to go Meyer. That being said, it might be a situation of too little too late, but it's gonna be much closer than I was probably originally forecasting. What's saving him here is that Osse's already done SM, including Mother Brain. So once he goes to get these boots, he's probably going to check Bonkrock's Kingston, get his Ice Rod, and head back to TR. So it could be very close. This is the race I was hoping for here. But SuperNinTaylor gets that right side gamble for the big key going. My lord, the plays, guys. The plays are happening. That was a sick call to go right side. I personally hate that right side play, but you know what? It paid off for him. Alright, so Osse, wisely, he's going to be checking everything here in wreck ship. It's only going to take him about another, say, 2 minutes, because mainly he's restricted by Bowling Alley, which is going to take, it's about a 30-second cutscene. But he's going to be able to kind of fly through the rest of the wreck ship here with his gear. And SNT having a little bit of input troubles. I think he's... I want to say it could be a little bit of nerves, but again, I don't blame him. He's in a 3-0 matchup against Osse, one of the most well-renowned SMZ3 runners here. And again, SuperNinTaylor is no slouch either. He's a very strong runner himself. So I guess we'll just remind you guys for one last time. This is an SMZ3 combo randomizer winner tournament matchup between Osse101 and SuperNinTaylor. Both our runners here are 3-0. Swiss bracket will allow for 8 runners into a bracket, so we'll have 2 5-0s and 6 4-2s advanced, and the 4-2 situation will be figured out by a tiebreak. 4-1s. So our runners definitely want to try and go undefeated as long as they can, just to secure a bracket spot if possible. So that's what they're playing for right now. And we're kind of heading to an exciting conclusion to this race. Osse kind of going back from a little bit of a routing mistake here, getting his boots will lead to his Ice Rod. I imagine he will be kind of close behind on that. And SuperNinTaylor, on the meanwhile, is well through his climb on GT, heading on over to the Lambo 2 fights, and is well in command of first place at this point. But with Osse making this play and not going to Meyer, is putting him in good position to kind of catch back up. So we'll see how this ends off. All right, where's Osse gonna go? Osse, no! Osse, no! Oh, I can't blame him. He's checking Turian speed right now for the Shaft Supers. And the reason why is because he got speed late in that hookshot lock location of Hookshot Cave. So he definitely wants to kind of scout that out, hoping to find Ice Rod here. Oh, and he's getting a little bullied by these slimes here, unfortunately. But manages to get it a second try nicely. SuperNinTaylor going to go ahead and go for the safety powder of the Anti-Fairies. Don't blame him only being on green mail 13 hearts. Ganon, a very scary entity with those low requirements. He does have Butter Sword. In that sense, offense will be his defense. So he's going to have a much faster Ganon fight. But he doesn't want to take any hugs, because hugs do a significant amount of damage to the tune of 8 hearts. So he really wants to avoid it as much as he can. And that's a 2-hit kill for Ganon on Link if that were to occur. So he definitely wants to kind of get as much health as he can back from that safety. That being said, again, offense will be his defense. That Butter Sword Silver fight will be incredibly quick on his side. And Osse went ahead and checked King's Tomb. He's going to be checking out Bonk Rocks and will be shortly in go here. Again, it's going to be very tight. Like, he just has to go back to TR, go all the way to Trinex area, and then head on to GT. And his saving grace that's keeping him in this race is that he's already defeated Mother Brain. So the race might not appear close because they're both in Link to the Past, but it's actually much closer than it first is perceived. And nice Aga 2 fight there from SuperNinTaylor 2. I believe that was a 4-cycle. Well executed. Also, nice drive-by by Osse on Death Mountain there through the dead rocks. Got a little jebaited by them. They're kind of blocking him in his path, and he couldn't hookshot him away, so he had to be a little patient there. It was a 5-cycle. I meant that Aga 2 fight sucked, guys. It was bad. I'm just kidding, guys. So yeah, alright, so we're in phase 1 of SuperNinTaylor's Ganon fight, and Osse101 is now heading towards Turtle Rock to finish off that dungeon for his 7th crystal. So pretty smooth Ganon fight for SuperNinTaylor so far. No issues, no damage loss, anything like that. And now he's at phase 4 with silvers and butter. Butter Sword doesn't really matter so much in the phase 4 because he has silvers. Still does the exact same effect as Temper Sword Slashes will do, which is freeze Ganon and allow him to puncture him with silver arrows. And of course, it will take 4 silver arrows for SuperNinTaylor to slay Ganon. And he's going to get the last arrow off there, so he is done with Link to the Past now. All he has to do left is walk through the staircase that's going to appear towards the Triforce room, and the game's actually going to warp him on top of the pyramid. The reason it does that is because he's not done Super Metroid yet in the combo, So he will have to go back, reset his console or emulator, and head back into Super Metroid. So he's going to start off on the chip here, and he's going to be on his way to Turian. Osse is well on his way too. He's almost through Turtle Rock in the Dark Maze area, through the kind of the Red Cane Block maze. So for those who are wondering timings wise, the Turian dash here, playing for about 8 to 9 minutes, I would say. Turian done well is sub 7, but getting there would cost another minute 45, depending on refills, to 2 minutes, just on resetting, getting the ship, and going through the refill and getting down to Turian. So 8 to 9 minutes is a pretty good time forecast to finish off the game at this point. And for GT climb, I would call it about 10 minutes plus. So if Osse goes right side, he has a very good chance of keeping this very close, but I think it's going to come down to that. And he's having an equally as impressive Trinix fight on his side of things. S&T having a little bit of problem on the Metroid room so far, but honestly, my rooms are a little sketch as well. So I know that feeling of kind of getting a little mucked up by the movement. And gets grabbed by the Metroids here, so he's going to have to basically bomb them off him. He's going to be able to refreeze and super them accordingly, right, as he just did. Really just minor hiccups, nothing too critical. Okay, so SuperNinTaylor is actually desuiting here. So the reason why he wants to desuit at Baby Metroid tells me he's just going to want to take chip damage here and kind of round down his energy as much as he can, because he's not going to go for Baby. So I think he's going to leave the suit off as well, which also changes what the damage properties he's going to have to keep in his head for math on what he can take from like the Metroid and for Baby Skip. So a good way to kind of algo it out is that instead of 3 E-tanks worth for, like, say, a stand-up, he's going to want 6 to get that 50%. And Osse's going left right now for hook shot, but let's see if he's going to go right as a Dark Magician strat or if he's going to go full left. Oh no, he's going to go full left. Oh, that's probably it, guys, unfortunately. That's going to be about another 3-ish minutes. 3 to 4 minutes on that left side, I would say, versus going back to right now. It is quite time consuming because he has to go through a lot of screen transitions on his way to Firebar room, on his way to the Firebar or the Winder chest, and to Rando room, and of course to the Ice Armos area. And then he has to go right side if he routes the way he is. So it's unfortunate, but that's Randomizer for you. But again, that just shows how super tight this race was. And it was kind of neat that both runners were looking for their own items. Osse, of course, looking for those boots forever. and the red cane, and SuperNinTaylor looking for those flippers of Fire Rod forever. So it was kind of a treat how that kind of worked out, and it just bled into how close they are. And you really get those kind of good close races with really, really skilled runners. So it's a great matchup we're watching today. I don't know. I've been entertained. I don't know about you guys, but this has been a fun race to commentate. And SNT just setting up his stand-up now, but he, again, I don't know if he re-equipped his gravity or not. He did not. So yeah, he went for the 7 E-tanks, so he needed 6 E-tanks there. And you're going to take a little bit more chip damage there to get down to that 1 E-tank, and he's good to go. He will not be doing stand-up. Sorry, he is doing stand-up. I'm silly. Never mind. Just ignore everything I just said for the last 5 seconds. It's okay, guys. It's been a long race. All right, so he wants to stay vertical here again, just to kind of satisfy the second condition of stand-up, and that is once Baby Metroid kind of swoops in. But he wants to be careful here and not go full right, or he's going to take chip damage. And he's setting up really nicely here, getting in some nice charge shots, making sure he's vertical for when Baby Metroid sweeps in. And he's got it. Okay, good. Very nice stand-up from SuperNinTaylor. I believe it was also a 4-beam fight for him, and he's going to go ahead on over to the escape sequence here. So, barring any kind of critical failure on SuperNinTaylor's fight, is definitely his race to lose now. He is well in control of his destiny. Osse just picking up his big key. Only if he went right side, this C would have been so close. So close. But again, I'm really, considering like what Osse left on the table and SuperNinTaylor was looking for, I'm really glad it met up to a very close race here. All right, and SuperNinTaylor getting to the ship is now finished the race, and he's going to finish with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 56 minutes, and 4 seconds. A spectacular race from his side of things, and Osse raced very well as well. So honestly, GG's to all our runners here today. This was a great showing. All right, and as we see if SuperNinTaylor wants to join us for an interview, we're just going to go ahead and continue to call for Osse's side of things. He is continuing on through the Gauntlet Ascent. has finished actually Gauntlet and Lamo 2 and is now through Wizardropes 1 and 2. And we'll be heading over to the torch puzzle, the 4-way torch puzzle. All right, and we are joined by SuperNinTaylor. Great race, sir.
Hey, thank you.
So I'm going to get it out of the way early. Spectacular race. Congratulations on being 4-0 now in this this very cutthroat Swiss. How does it feel to take down Osse?
I knew it was gonna be a really tough match. He was like, I was looking at the 3-0 possibilities, and he was one of the ones where I was like, I hope I don't get Osse. And then when I rolled him, I knew it was gonna be really tough, but I'm glad I pulled it out. I knew I could win. I knew either one of us had the ability to take this one.
Yeah, I think it goes without saying. I'd say the top 2 combo runners I can think of right now would be Elminster RTA and Osse101, and a lot of people kind of fear rolling into them. So definitely, I didn't envy you getting him in the 3-0, just because we all know how cutthroat the 2-1s look already, leading to the 3-1. But again, it's just such a good race kind of thing watching back. You both kind of had your moments in how the race kind of went about itself. Like, you were looking for flippers and fire rod for a while. Osse actually put off Rex ship like twice. So what he did was he didn't red it in until about, I think, 2 hours 20, getting his boots. And then once he got his Titan mitts, finished off Fantoon, and then got his high jump, he actually bailed on it and chased the Titan mitts. So that was kind of his undoing there.
I almost didn't go to Red Ship right away. I was like, I'm just gonna check the moat, see what's there. And I was kind of planning on going down Red Tower to trade. So I kind of wanted to wait till a speed booster. But then I was there, and I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. Because to be honest, I actually forgot I had gravity, because I thought it was going to be a CWJ required, and I was like, wait, I have gravity.
Yeah. Gravity itself actually isn't in logic either for Rex ships, so you actually kind of sequence broke that. And while you were sequence breaking that, Osse actually sequence broke Meridia as well, because he didn't have a cam fly to get through. So you both were kind of sequence breaking different things. He found his hook shot early and like 3 swords, and you ultimately found the better pairing, I guess, since the race is now over, in the high jump boots, and of course the Titan mitts there at the pedestal at the moat. So
he got the early hook shot.
Oh yeah, he got early hook shot. He found that grapple 2, chased Shack Tool as well, but he reset that out once he found Shack Tool had nothing, and kept that hook shot. He really couldn't use it though because no Titans, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that was one of my gambles. I saw that grapple. I was like, oh, should I? That's such a terrible spot for grapple.
It really is, because you get it and you're like, do I want to commit now to Shack Tool? It's now in logic, but yeah.
But yeah, I was hoping he didn't get hook shot early, because I was wondering if maybe my hover and hookshot cave would be one of the things that put me ahead, getting that speed booster.
Oh man, I actually had some internet issues and I missed it. Like, I had to have like the tracker, the receiver, like, yo, he just did this. That was the first thing I said. I missed it. But yeah,
the speed booster was in hookshot cave. So I was hoping he hadn't gone to get the hookshot yet.
But yeah, that was good. And Osse is now done as well with an official SRL time of 3 hours and 56 minutes. So great race by both our competitors. And we're also now joined by Osse101. Great racer.
Thank you. GG.
So Aussie, I know, just to kind of shift on your side of things, I know you don't like wreck ship. Just talking with you on routing and racing with you a couple of times. This time, unfortunately, I felt for you so bad because you're looking for your tight mitts, ice rod, red cane for so long because you had that early edge into Swamp Palace with the hook shot, which really worked for you. It kind of narrowed it down. But then it was ultimately just that call of, okay, I got tight mitts. I have so much I can do in the overworld. I'm going to pass on that addict. In hindsight, honestly, I agree with the play. It just unfortunately didn't work out for you.
Yeah, at that point, I was also feeling pretty behind getting the mitts that late. And so I wanted to skip something. And then it ended up being the ice rod.
Yeah, it actually wasn't as critical of a skip as I thought because I didn't think you'd get back there so fast. But my lord, like I think it was after Turtle Rock and the powder, you got right back in there, which is a great follow-up play. It was really heads up, honestly, because I think at that point you only had like Meyer left. So really,
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that play going back so soon. It was pretty heads up.
Yep, it had the item density.
Yeah, for sure. And again, like guys, like I've said before, this was a really nice matchup between both you guys. I recommend watching it back. I mean, I know as runners, like if you're winning or losing, sometimes it can be a little hard to, but this is a really good one I think to watch back. It was kind of neat how you're both kind of battling for different items really, and then it all came to a head where you both got red cane around the same time and just kind of went in different directions from there.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious how it played out.
Yeah, I'm planning to watch it back. I got about 2 hours left in my day before I got to take off, so I can watch 2/3 of it. Finish the rest when I get home. Yeah, I knew it'd be a good match. I was hoping it would be a good match, regardless of who won.
Yeah, again, you guys definitely put on a good show, so that was really great.
Want to avoid that X and 1 at all costs. That's like the scariest group at the tournament.
Well, I mean, it's going to get so much scarier now because Aussie's in there, and I'm not sure if Elminster's in there or not. I didn't really see the results, but as I said, Aussie and Elm are probably regarded as the top two, I would say, in combo right now. So that's incredibly scary, man. I don't envy anyone in that X and 1 bracket for sure, and Swiss.
Yeah. Pretty sure Zost is in there too, isn't he?
Unless he's in there. Yeah. He's in there, I think.
I think Andy and Ivan in there.
I think Andy or Ivan's still in the 3-0s. I don't know if he's raced or not yet, but okay. Andy's definitely in the 2-1 bracket right now for Swiss. Yeah, guys, before we kind of wrap it up here, any final thoughts on the seed? Anything you guys want to talk about?
Now I can't even remember half the seed. I'm trying to think back of something that stuck out from the seed.
I really liked my execution. I got to pull off some of the harder tricks, like first try. On the Super Metroid side, that is.
Yeah, I can't think of a whole lot.
I mean, again... All right, well, good game, guys. I mean, again, as you mentioned, there was a lot of crisp execution going on and a great run by our runners. So if you guys saw what you liked today, go ahead and give them a follow. 2 top-tier runners, I'd say, in combo right now. Very strong showing. Both very strong in their respective games and also in their kind of mirror matchups in Super Metroid and Link to the Past. So very exciting match. And if you guys relate to the party, I definitely recommend a watch back on this one. So yeah, I guess that's gonna do it for us for now. I imagine there's gonna be another couple of races coming up on the Speed Gaming schedule. It's always up, always around, guys. I think there's one in about 50 minutes for the Link to the Past tournament going on. I got my match kind of in a couple of hours, so I got to rest up for that too. But self-plug there, I guess. But but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and we're gonna roll out the credits here. So everyone have a great day, and take care, guys.